Hello and welcome to the Simple Game Dev. This is part 12 of the tutorial series, and I have good news to everyone. Basically, we are getting close to finish our tutorial, and this chapter is going to be quick, but still it's going to be fun, and I'm going to try to teach you new and cool things. One of them being some basic usage of the Unity UI system, which is awesome, by the way. So let's get our hands dirty and start doing cool stuff. Excuse me. So the last time we ended up with this cute bunny and the claw, and basically we only made the animator controllers for both the character and the claw, right? We also put those two meshes inside this blue player prefab, and that's pretty much it. And in this episode, let's start by creating a script. So let's go to our scripts folder and create a C# script, and I'm gonna call this player script. I'm going to drag and drop it to the blue player, and remember to put it on the actual parent, the blue player, not the bunny model or the claw model. It goes in the blue player. Now let's double click to open it. Now this script is going to be very simple. The only thing that we need to create for now, it's basically a static function that we can call pretty much anywhere on our game. And this function is going to be the one in charge of activating the claw animation for both the character and the claw. So let's start by creating public static player script. Now you know what? Let's grab a reference to our animators. So public animator, claw animator. Now, if they are the same type, like in this case, both variables are animators, I can just put a comma between those, and instead of adding another public animator for the claw. So this is just for time saving. It works, but if you like to have it all in a nice looking list like this, go ahead. It's pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to show you. If you save it, you will see both the bunny animator and the claw animator. So let's drag them, starting by the bunny and the claw model. That's it. And now let's make a public void. I'm going to call this activate claw animations. And now when we call this activate claw animations, we need to send a message to this both animators, right? The bunny animator and the claw animator. And if you remember, the parameters that we set for activating the bunny animator, the bunny claw animation, it's called activate claw, which is also the same for the claw animation, right? I mean, they don't have to be the same, but in this case, I just left it there for simplicity's sake. So the way we're going to do this, as you see here, this is a trigger. Remember, there are 4 types of parameters that we can send to the animator. One is float, int, bool, and trigger. Now the difference between the bool and the trigger is that A bool will stay in an on or off position until you switch it back, while the trigger is just like a quick push of a button, so to speak. So let's start by bunny animator, set trigger. Now it's asking you for the trigger name, the string, and we know it's called activate claw. Now make sure it's properly spelled, otherwise it's not gonna work. That's it. And same thing for the claw animator. Claw animator set trigger activate claw. For now I don't need the start or the update for now. Maybe we'll later on, if we need them, we can just add them again. So for now, that's what we need. Just that simple 4 lines of code. Okay, so now let's move to our UI part. Now, for those of you who don't know what the UI is, it basically stands for user interface. And it's basically all the buttons and HUD elements that you see on screen every time you play a game. Could be like a health system, you know, like a little bar on top of your character, or even just numbers every time you get a higher score, things like that. That's what UI stands for. So in order to create this UI, let's right click on our hierarchy and an empty space. We'll create UI. And in this case, I'm going to choose Canvas. Oh, excuse me, I'm still feeling a bit sick, but still going on. So anyway, now that you created a canvas, you see that Unity created this weird transparent rectangle and this event system. Basically, this is telling you the size of your screen, and right now you can see that it's huge, right? Like compared to our bunny. But that's how it works. Basically, this one is, I believe, in you know, units, like regular Unity units. That's why it's huge, because let's say this one is 778 of width. That means it's 700 and something meters or so. So that's why it's huge comparison in comparison to the bunny. So don't worry about that right now. I'll try to keep it very simple, but these are the options that you get. Render mode, screen space overlay, camera, or world space. Overlay means that basically whatever you put on this square is going to be drawn, I guess, on top of the camera, of your main camera. So it doesn't matter if this is huge. It's going to resize it, I guess, and draw it perfectly on your main camera. Okay, continuing with the screen space camera. If you select this one, it's asking you for a camera, and what this one is doing is basically like putting this empty canvas in front of the camera and just parent it to it. So basically you can have like nice 3D effects on your UI, things like that. And the last one, world space, it's imagine you have like a 3D, let's say, beat 'em up game, and each character has its health bar on top. Let's say we want our bunny to have a health bar, right? So since we don't really know where the character is going to be in relation to the camera and things like that, we will use a canvas in in world space mode, so that it's basically creating a little canvas on top of our bunny, and we can put UI elements in that. So I hope that's kind of like quick to explain, and you get some ideas of UI elements. Later on in some other tutorials, we'll get more in depth. But for now, we will use the very basic first mode, which is overlay, because we don't really need anything fancy. Right now, we're only creating a button that when we push it, it's going to activate our bunny animation and claw animation. So let's go back to screen space overlay, because that's what we need. Here, that's how it's going to scale. I'm gonna keep it scale with screen size, and you basically give it a reference resolution. Actually, since we were creating this for mobile, let's use this resolution, which is 1080 by 1920. Okay, so let's go to our canvas. Resolution 1080 1920. Cool. So as you can see, the size and shape of our canvas changed, and now it actually matches the resolution of in this case my Samsung Galaxy. So yeah, now this will give you an idea of where things will be on your phone. Okay, so the first thing we are going to make is create a simple button. So click on the canvas, then right click on it, add UI, and then go to button. Now as you can see, it created a small button right in the center of the screen. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's go 300 by, I don't know, 150. Now this little button here will let you move and resize not only to the elements, but it's mostly used for that. So you can resize it whichever size you like and place it roughly, I don't know, on the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna put it here because it's just for testing, really. Here inside the button, you can see there's a text component, and you can call it whatever you want. Right now it's super tiny, so I'm gonna change this to best fit, and I'm gonna give it a max size of, let's say, 150. And now you can see the text. You can also change the color, the opacity of it. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with the Unity UI, which is awesome. For now, let's just keep it really simple. I'm gonna even destroy this text, then just keep the button. I might make it a little bit transparent so that it's not too overwhelming there, and maybe a little bit bigger so that it's easier to press. Now the other thing I want to do is roughly put this camera in a position that would be similar to the Finnish version of our game. So I'm gonna start rotating this guy. Okay, it's a little bit hard here, so I'm gonna zero it out and then move it, rotate it 90 degrees on the X so that it's completely looking down. And then I'm gonna position this roughly here, and we also want to see the bunny, right? So I'm gonna put it somewhere around here. Yeah, something like this. That should be fine, even though the button is there. I can make the button completely transparent and it will still work. So let's go back to our button. If you check the button components, there is an image script, and this is basically the one you can change put your own sprites instead of this generic white square, I mean. I'm not going to talk about that too much because the one we actually care about is this button script. And it's basically interactable or not. Basically, this will turn the button functionality off. Transition, there are a couple of transitions that you can change here. I'm gonna keep it as color tint. And the normal color, yeah, so I'm gonna leave all this as is. Whatever you like, and the colors you can change. I don't really mind. But what we really need to do is here on the on-click section, we need to press this plus button. And now, every time we click on this button, we can do something, right? So as you can see here, now this field appear. So what this means is that, okay, I need an object that actually has a script with a function. And luckily for us, we just made that script. So let's drag and drop our blue player into that empty slot there. And if you see here, if you pay attention to this, now this field is available for us. Before it was grayed out. And now we can go into the player script, because that's the script that's attached to the blue player, and find the public function that we created to activate claw animations. Now this is very important. In order for you to see, or I mean for the UI to see the functions that you want to call every time you press a button, they have to be public. So that's it. That's why I made that activate claw animations public. So that's it. Every time you click on this huge button, the character should play its animation. So let's see if we made it happen. If you click on play, you can see now that our character is idling and it's doing fine. And this button works like any other button. As you can see, I can hover over and it changes a little bit. So let's try it out. Let's click on it. There you go. Now we can even say we have kind of a game right here. That's it. That's the very basics of a game, right? Press a button and something happens in the screen. So lastly, I just want to change this button position and look just for now, because I don't really like how it's in front of our character. We can make it completely white, I mean transparent. Same for the highlight part, highlight color, pressed color. Yeah, I'm gonna make all of them transparent. It doesn't really matter, the button is transparent but it's still gonna work. So remember, the button was somewhere around here. If I click it, it's still working. So that's basically what we want in our final game. I'm gonna be creating a huge pink player button, which will be in the top half of the screen, and a blue button for the blue player that will cover the lower half of the screen. That's pretty much it for this video. Now there's a lot to cover in regards of UI in Unity, but as mentioned, this is just a simple tutorial on how to make a game. And if you guys want to know more about the Unity UI and want me to make a tutorial on just that, I'll be happy to do it. But for now, let's continue finishing our simple game tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.